Hello, dear fountain pen, ink, and paper lovers out there. Doug here, coming to you from Albuquerque in New Mexico after a good while of a break. As some of you know, I've been to Germany. I've done some work at my mom's house in the garden specifically. And I've also been to Nevada, and that's where I want to send out a big hello to my friend Rob. It's always super special when you finally get to meet someone in person with whom you have communicated in the past, and where, sometimes you just get this feeling you're gonna get along great in real life, and that's how it was with Rob. So thank you, Rob, for making time to get together with my husband Wyatt and myself. It was fun. Yes, but mainly I wanted to talk to you today about some of the treasures that I did bring back from Germany. And I did get some paper, and I also did get some fountain pens. I was in Germany last October, and I also went to an antique market and to a flea market and did not find a single fountain pen. This was different this year. I was so excited. I really couldn't believe my luck. You just never know. So I went to the same antique market and I lucked out, and I found, let me do the head count. Well, all in all, I found 8 fountain pens, 7 at the antique market and 1 at a flea market at my hometown. That was pretty exceptionally crazy awesome. And I wanted to take a closer look at those with you at the desk, because I feel like sometimes it sounds like, wow, she got those fountain pens at a flea market. They were so cheap. No, they're not necessarily cheap, but they're also not collector's prices that you might eventually pay on a different platform. So I was super excited because I thought the prices were really okay, and that was just one that I ended up not getting, and it was a Pelican 400, but that was okay. That was at that point I had already spent a lot of money, and that was okay. And I don't know if you are interested in that, but I will tell you what I paid for the pens, so you can get an idea of what can end as a happy purchase and what may end up as a not so happy purchase. And that's the way it is at times. But I did want to show you the paper treasures that I got while I'm here standing in front of my big desk, because here is the stack of paper. All right. And for those of you who missed that, there was an episode where I went through my journal collection with you guys, and I was very uncertain about which journal to use to take on my trip to Germany, and I ended up choosing this altered book with added pages, where I can probably tell I added pictures and whatnot, and stickers. And it's full, and I moved on to a different one, which was a thin, just one signature notebook that I had collaged on, but that's one that I'm still writing in right now. So this was the one that I took to Germany, and then I brought home this stack. So I've talked to you about these before. That's a typical style notebook that you would use in Germany in elementary school. I have plenty of these already on my shelf over there, but I bought some more because I want to experiment with bookbinding, and I thought, wow, I don't really have any paper where I say, oh, that's what I'm going to use for a signature. And then I thought, wow, these are so affordable and a very nice quality of paper that I will just use these. Maybe 3 of the little notebooks for one binding. And I hope I'm going to get around to that soon because the house is full and very crazy right now. My daughter came home from Japan. My son has moved back in for a while, and the house is, the energy is very alive, and also there's a lot of stuff everywhere that still needs to be put away and organized. So I feel like it may take me a while until I get to this because I'm going to need peace and quiet, and there is no peace and quiet in this house right now. So I also got a little notebook, just a little lined one, and for those of you who want to get an idea, these are priced super low at 50 cents. 50 euro cents per notebook. And I got one of these from a different store also, and I feel that this one was a lot more expensive because it's a more kind of like a higher quality of paper, but I have to say I have no complaints about those other ones, the 50 cents ones. And then I also got this one from the antique market, which is kind of like really old style, as you can maybe guess from the cover. And also same seller, same vendor at the antique market with this. And I guess I already tore out the paper where I did my testing, and it's wonderful for writing. Those were also super cheap, maybe €1 per pad, A5 size. And then I got this from a knitting friend, and this is vintage, and it's, yeah, I wonder what these were used for. I love the lines. I love that the paper is quite white, and I am certain that I will use this as a journal. And it's so funny because this was from a knitting friend, and she wrote, you know, I love notebooks. I don't use them, which totally cracked me up. But on the other hand, I got it. And she said, okay, I know you love your paper, so I'm going to send you this. This was from the estate of her aunt, and it, who recently, or at some point during the last year, passed away. So I felt very honored to get one of those notebooks, and quite a lot of pages. I can't wait to use this as a journal. And then, and this is maybe interesting for those of you who will travel in Germany at some point. Dang. Awesome. Yes. Not quite sure where I got this one, but it is a 20. Does that mean 20 grams? No, it's 90 grams, and it's bright white paper. It's not lined, and I got it for letters. And I don't know where the number 20, what that means. Maybe they have different qualities and distinguish them that way. But I wanted to show you this just to give an example. This is wonderful paper for writing, and for 50 sheets of this stationery quality paper, I have paid €4. This is A4 size. This one is from the store Rossmann, which has, it's almost like CVS or so. Yeah, it's kind of like a store that has a little bit of tiny food section, but mainly like teas and cosmetics and stuff like that. And I got this one there. This was probably of the three that I bought, the lesser quality, but also, yeah, can't complain about paying $3.50. That's slightly lighter, 70 grams per sheet. Or no, not per sheet, but 70 grams per square meter, made in Germany. And then I have this one, optic paper. Unfortunately, it has, it's hole punched, but I don't care also. I mean, I will still use this for letters, and I think I got this at my local stationery store there, and I only paid $4 for this one. And the, like I said, it's Oxford optic paper. And it does not give a weight. It only says that it has 50 sheets per pad. And, you know, all of these were so cheap that I thought, well, it won't matter. I'm just going to get them. I'm going to risk it. And by the way, I also got one other one, which I forgot to bring here. It's a spiral bound Oxford optic paper book that I will use to jot down to-do lists and shopping lists that are kind of like important for me in the moment, and that are they're important but still unimportant enough so they won't go into my planner. Let's say that. Let me get that, because I wasn't even thinking of that, because I'm already using that. Hold on. So this is the daily notebook, and it is dot grid, and you can, I honestly don't know why it has a punched line here when everybody can easily rip it out where the spiral is. If you know why that is, enlighten me. But you can actually download an app for this. I have not tried it yet, where you can archive what you have handwritten on your Oxford paper sheet, and the guides are then those markings on the corners. Yeah, it's a very nice paper, very smooth. I've been using it with only with fountain pen for my notes. Great quality of paper, of course. And so that was the paper that I got in Germany. And now let's take a look at the pens. These are my tops and flops from my Germany visit this year. This is the only one that I got from a normal flea market. All the others were finds from an antique market. This one is a Söhneken. Söhneken is a well-known company in Germany. I do not know if they still make fountain pens, but I was hopeful for this one, but alas, I have not gotten it to write. It has a broad oblique nib, and I paid 30 euros for it. I will tell you what I paid for it because I want to put it in perspective for you so you can actually get an idea of, you know, people think, oh wow, she found that at a flea market, she paid $5 for it. No, she didn't. She did pay more money. So this one actually will need a repair, and I would imagine that it's worth it. And thank goodness I have a dear friend who will help me with the repair. I mean, I'll send him the pen and I will of course pay him for the repair. I have two pens that are no-name ones. And well, let me pair them up the way they came to me. Okay. No, that was wrong. No, it was not. This one I was really curious about. It does not give you a name brand on it, nothing on it, no marking. But it's a small gold nib, which I thought looked promising. However, I couldn't get it to write. Maybe no suction. I don't even know. I didn't keep track of what the problem with which one was. But I have these two already being fails. Then I have one more fail. This one, by the way, 15 euros. Then this one, another no name, nothing on it, no marking, nothing. And it's also, who knows what kind of nib, definitely no gold markings, a fine nib. And it says Dauerfeder 4. The number 4 on it. I got this one together with this one for 5 euros, and that was actually one where I had to keep my poker face. Yes, this is a piston filling Mont Blanc. Hold on a second. Oh yes, this one is a Mont Blanc 32. Piston filling mechanism works not the best of shape, as you can see here with the little damage. But I have inked it now and it writes beautifully. Let me make some room so I can show you the next pens. Definitely a fine nib. Oh no, this one wiggles. I'm at a different location today because of the sun and the time of the day, and I was hoping I'd be fine at the kitchen table, so I hope I'm not shaking you too badly. Mont Blanc 32. I call it a fine nib, and I put in it Pélican rose quartz. Lovely, absolutely lovely. And if you've been around for a while here, you may know about me that I like my broad nibs the most. However, I have always some fine writing pens inked up to use in my planner. Then you all know my love for Pélican pens, and this one is a Pélican 140, one of the tinier ones. Let me compare that for you with an M150. Barely any larger, any longer. I never post my pens, so I don't mind a smaller pen. And this is a 14K gold nib, and for this pen I paid, oh, I got them mixed up. So I'm pretty confident I paid 30 for this one and 40 for the next one, but well, it might be vice versa. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what I wrote down, this 130. I like these oblique nibs by Pélican. They work perfectly for me. So this is one that I've been enjoying, even though it sometimes starves on me, but not frequently enough to annoy me, because that's something that I absolutely detest in a pen, when you constantly have to prime the feed. Not the case with this one, but occasionally I do have to do that. Or it almost feels like sometimes I write too fast and then I give it a few shakes toward the page. No, don't be scared. I would never slam my pen into the page. So yeah, but that works for me. Let's see. So this is Herba, Cacao du Brésil. Cacao du Brésil. I hope I'm not butchering the name, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And I got a bottle of this guy. Have it in Germany, by the way. Couldn't bring it. Ran out of space. Sweet little pen. And this, by the way, also a bottle. Let's see if we can make this baby sing. Slightly flexible nib. Love it. Next is, so this one I was so excited about. It's a Geha, and I love Geha pens. I want to say that they were the biggest competitor of Pélican pens, but as far as I know, the company does not exist anymore. but I have actually never ever seen one that has an inlaid nib like this. And suitably, it is named GH Goldschwinge. And Goldschwinge means golden wing. Schwinge is kind of like an old-fashioned name for a wing, I want to say. Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. Love it. And also, all in all, in a great shape, I want to say. Yeah. So ink window here, you probably can't see that, but yeah, love it. So surprised that I had never seen this pen before, not even on pictures. So, but thank you, Google. And I believe that this is a broad nib, and the ink is diamine claret. I have one of those smaller bottles. So this one is funny because in regards to the writing experience that it was, I had initially the Erva ink in it, and I thought that it was sometimes writing dry. So it's possible that it's one of those pens that are dry, all in all drier writers, but not to the extent that it bothered me. So that was interesting because I'm also not the biggest fan of dry writing pens. But I wonder if it's a little different with this ink, because so far I've just inked this up, but from so far from what I've used it so far, it's better flow, better ink flow, wetter encounter with the page. Yeah, tell me what you think. Would you have bought these so far? Here, this is the one that I spent the most money. I spent the most money on this guy, another Mont Blanc, and this was actually initially a big disappointment because it had a converter in the back, and I filled it with only water to clean it, and I held it, and it was just gushing out that water. It was just dripping, dripping, dripping. And then I had a meeting of our pen club, and I asked my a local friend who used to repair pens. I said, "Oh, what do you think? What could that be?" And he said, "Well, the next thing I would recommend for you to do is just to replace the converter." And indeed, it was a standard converter that was required, and I just switched those around, and it's wonderful. No problem since. Thank goodness. Because I paid 80 euros for this one, and this is a white gold nib, 585. This is a Mont Blanc. $225. And it has a broad nib. Yeah. Very nice. And I don't think I mentioned it about the Goldschwinge, but that was also a piston filler. The three first pens all were piston fillers. Now this is the last one. It's called a Laurine. Never heard of the company before. Looks kind of cool, doesn't it? The brushed steel outside. And this is the one that I found at the flea market in my hometown, and I always want to pull off the cap. And I think it's because I have a Pedicon that looks the same, where it's a pull off the cap kind of pen, but this one is a screw off. Grip section is just black, and I was very, very lucky because I got this pen for $2 and euros, of course. Initially, I thought, dang, this is very scratchy, but it puts down a lot of ink. So it's no issue at all, because I feel like the ink helps it glide over the page. And I believe that the nib is kind of like, you know what? I was really thinking, is this a stub or is this a lefty oblique nib, or what do we have here? But it's just, it does its own thing as soon as you put it on the page. So I think I'd say it's a B or a stub. And the ink is a Capico cartridge in Paradise Blue. Yeah, that's really not bad at all. Yeah, it's really more like a stub than a broad. Seriously. Yeah, was a very pleasant surprise, because sometimes, you know, you test a pen with water and it's like, ooh, no. But this was one of those where it was an ook no, but then, wow, not bad at all. Now let me finish up with the Mont Blanc, because I have to fill in the ink. And this is Pannonia. Patina. All right, my friends. And this is it. So I will keep you posted and let you know what becomes of these 3 flops. That's funny. Superior. Sunican 444 superior, not superior at all, because you don't write, baby. Yes, I will keep you posted about these guys. I mean, visually, they're not like, oh my God, I wish you would write. More like, oh, let's see what happens. But these guys, I'm very happy about all of them, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you again soon. Bye.